Hi, I'm Olivia, and today's happy nugget comes from Mahatma Gandhi, the great leader of the Indian independence movement against British rule. I grew up listening to stories about Gandhi because my mom's great aunt, Sucheta Kriplani, and her husband, Acharya J.B. Kriplani, were devout disciples of Gandhi and important figures in India's independence movement, helping Gandhi when he came back from South Africa. My great-great aunt, Sucheta, was India's first woman chief minister, serving as the head of Uttar Pradesh from 1963 to 1967. Her husband held the presidency of the Indian National Congress during the transfer of power in 1947. I didn't pay much attention to this growing up because my mother's life in India is filled with so many painful memories, and our lives in Peru were so far removed from that reality. However, I did read Gandhi's autobiography when I was 15 years old. Gandhi was born Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi in 1869 in Porbandar, India. He came from a very religious household, exposed early on to the tenets of nonviolence. His performance in school, on the whole, was below average. When Gandhi was 13, he was married in an arranged ceremony, eventually having 4 children. His family was of humble origin, and when he was presented with the opportunity to travel to England to become a lawyer, he jumped at the chance, in spite of his mother's objections, fearing her son would succumb to danger and temptation. 3 years later, when Gandhi came back to India, his professional prospects were not good. Gandhi was very shy, unable to argue in court successfully, making a modest living by drafting petitions for litigants. In 1893, Gandhi was offered a better job in South Africa, and he took it, spending 21 years away from home. It was in South Africa that Gandhi's outlook in life changed. When he got there, he thought of himself as British before Indian. But when he experienced utter discrimination, being publicly beaten and humiliated, he began to question the Indians' place in the British Empire. Where he had once been shy, Gandhi took up the calling of fighting for the dignity and the rights of his people, becoming active in politics and developing many of the ideas that would later characterize his independence movement in India, including nonviolent resistance. Almost 4 decades later, under the guidance and leadership of Gandhi and his followers, India achieved her independence from the British Empire in 1947. There are moments in life that are critical in shaping the characters of great men and women. When Gandhi was a young adolescent, he went through a rebellious streak, eating meat, which was a sin in his religious household, smoking, and stealing money from servants to purchase cigarettes. In his autobiography, Gandhi wrote, "Well, it was done, and the debt cleared, but this became more than I could bear. I resolved never to steal again. I also made up my mind to confess it to my father, but I did not dare to speak. Not that I was afraid of my father beating me. I was afraid of the pain that I should cause him, but I felt that the risk should be taken, that there could not be a cleansing without a clean confession. I decided at last to write out the confession, to submit it to my father and ask his forgiveness. I wrote it on a slip of paper and handed it to him myself. In this note, not only did I confess my guilt, but I asked adequate punishment for it, and closed with a request to him not to punish himself for my offense. I also pledged myself never to steal in the future." I was trembling as I handed the confession to my father. He was then suffering from a fistula and was confined to bed. He read it through, and pearl drops trickled down his cheeks, wetting the paper. For a moment he closed his eyes in thought, and then tore up the note. I also cried. I could see my father's agony. Those pearl drops of love cleansed my heart and washed away my sin. Only he who has experienced such love can know what it is. For all the political and social roles Gandhi was known for, at his core, he was deeply rooted in his religious beliefs, always looking to improve himself. The word Mahatma, used to honor Gandhi, means great soul. Even the greatest among us, someone as noble and with such a grand destiny as Gandhi, make mistakes. The key is to be humble enough to accept those mistakes and courageous enough to take responsibility for them. so that the true greatness that's inside of us can shine. And that's today's Happy Nugget. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. As always, I link below the video anything I recommend. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.